Welcome, everyone. The meeting is now open for the special tentative budget session for the School Board of St. Lucie County. If you would please stand with me for the pledge and the Kids at Hope pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Treasure Hunter pledge. As an adult and a treasure hunter, I am committed to search for all the talent, skills, and intelligence that exist in all children and youth. I believe all children are capable of success, no exceptions. Thank you. You may be seated. Note that the time is 5:01 and the public hearing has now been opened. Michelle, if you would come forward and give your presentation, please.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Prince, Superintendent Dr. Prince, school board members. This is the tentative budget hearing, and I will provide a brief overview of the tentative budget and millage rates. At the end of the presentation, the board will vote to approve the tentative millage rates. After the millage rates are approved, the board will vote to approve the tentative budget and resolutions, all three resolutions at one time. This shows the taxable value, millage, and tax collection estimates at 100% and 96%. We budget at 96%, and last year we collected 96.5%. As a reminder, the board must levy the 3.0000 required local effort millage and the 1.0000 voted operating millage. The 0.7480 discretionary millage and the 1.5000 capital operating millage are maximums. The only action the board could take would be to reduce those, and I do not recommend that. The total millage is 6.2480. The board does not have the authority to increase the millages as they are set by the legislature, and it is our maximum millage for the 24-25 school year. This shows a history of the millage rates going back to fiscal year 2007-08. During this time, our highest millage rate was during fiscal year 10-11 at 8.1770. This shows the break between the operating capital and voted millages and where the legislature demanded a shift. Capital outlay shifted from 2 mills in 7-8 to 1.5 mills in 9-10. Since fiscal year 1920, the district has levied an additional 1 mill as voted operating millage. This shows the average impact to the annual taxes of homeowners in the county. We get this information from the property appraiser's office each year. There is a reduction in the non-voted millage by 3.03%, but the average taxable value in the county increased by approximately 10.2%. Therefore, the average homeowner experiences an increase in annual taxes by approximately $82.03. This shows the taxable value history. The entire county's gross taxable value makes up the taxes that you will see on the next slide. This shows the gross tax collection history and excludes the voted 1 mill. I will show the impact of the 1 mill on the next slide. Here you can see the impact that the additional voted 1 mill will have on our collections for 24-25, resulting in $45 million of additional revenue. This will be the 6-year recognizing revenue from the 1 mill as it was renewed in November 2022 for an additional 4 years as by law. The additional revenue generated from this 1 mill is used to recruit and retain qualified teachers, improve school security, improve mental health services, and fund other essential operations that preserve important school programs. As required by law, the 1 mill is proportionately shared with charter schools. It is important to note that tax collections and taxable values are not increasing at the same rate. From 23-24 to 24-25, the taxable value increase is 10.69%, but the collections increase 7.28%. That is because the legislature mandates what the required local effort is, and they've capped our other millage rates. Looking back at 2007-8, we were collecting $185 million. For consistent comparison purposes, we exclude the additional voted 1 mil on this slide. We would be proposed to collect $235.6 million this year, so we are up $50.9 million compared to that benchmark year, and cumulatively $400.5 million in reduced tax burden to the property owners in the county. Incorporating the voted 1 mil, we are proposed to collect $280.5 million and over by $95.8 million compared to that benchmark year, but still down cumulatively $204.4 million in reduced tax burden to the property owners in the county. The rollback rate discussion is something we are required to talk about, and here's a table that helps explain it. In 23-24, the taxable value was $42.2 billion. The millage rate was 6.4120. That millage rate generated $271 million in revenue. The rollback rate is a calculated rate that will generate the same exact revenue using this year's net taxable value. The calculated rollback rate is 6.0191. So 6.0191 times the current taxable value of $45 billion generates $271 million. Since we have a proposed rate of 6.2480, which exceeds 6.0191, we have to compare those two millage rates and make a public statement that the proposed rate is 3.8% greater than the rollback rate. Here's the summary of the budget. This includes beginning reserves, revenues, appropriations, and ending reserves for a grand total of $1,184,653,178, which is amended through the year by official board action. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. This is a public hearing. Does anyone wish to address the board before votes are taken? Seeing none, we will move on to the receiving the recommendations. Mr. Superintendent.
I recommend the board approve the tentative required local effort millage of 3.0 as mills as specified in the resolution 2024-25 trim tentative A.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I recommend the board approve the tentative district school tax discretionary operating millage of 0.7480 mills as specified in the resolution 2024-25 trim tentative A.
A motion by Dr. Mills, second by Mr. Ingersoll. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I recommend the board approve the tentative district discretionary local capital improvement millage of 1.50 mills as specified in the resolution 2024-25 trim tentative A.
Have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Any conversation? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I recommend the board approve the tentative district additional voted millage of 1.0 mills as specified in the resolution 2024-25 tentative A.
Motion by Dr. Mills, second by Mr. Ingersoll. Any conversation? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I recommend the board adopt the 2024-25 tentative budget in the amount of $1,184,653,178.
A motion by Dr. Mills, a second by Mr. Ingersoll. Any conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
And lastly, I recommend the board adopt resolution 2024-25 trim tentative B and resolution 2024-25 trim tentative C as submitted.
Motion
Motion to approve.
and a motion by Mr. Kelly, second by Dr. Mills. Any conversation? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Board members, that is the only business we have to come before us tonight, and we are adjourned.